Well, Mr. Shepherd,
Yeah, go ahead.
can you go over the which one is it? Like second row, and then it's the second one.
On what you're seeing right now?
Oh no, it's up above.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. All right, so if we start on our next one, we first figure out what angles we're dealing with. So we're dealing with angle 10 and angle 3. Now, I'm going to cross off everything that I'm not dealing with right now because I want to make my life easier. So I want it to look exactly like it looks in the problems before. So we basically just created this picture and we're dealing with this angle and this angle. So now let's think. The transversal is the line that's by itself. The two lines that are kind of running parallel to each other, they're not really parallel, but the two lines that look like they're across from each other like this, those are not the transversal. The transversal is the line that goes across both of the other two lines. So this one is the transversal. The purple line is the transversal. So now if I look at my arrows, are the arrows on the same side of the transversal? Are they both on the right side? Are they both on the left side? Or are they on opposite sides? Which one? Are they on the same side? Are they on the opposite sides? Or are they on both sides?
They're on the same side.
They're on the same side. So I'm going to start my flow chart. They are on the same side. Now again, the way that I like to do this is I like to make my hands the lines. So this is the top line, this is the bottom line. When I do this, I smush my hands together. If I push my hands together like this, will it touch both of those arrows?
Yes.
Yes, it will. So if it will touch both of those arrows, that means it is inside. So if it is the same side of the transversal, if it is inside, we call those consecutive interior angles. So that's what I'm going to write here, consecutive interior angles. Okay. Can you guys see a little video of me on your screen right now? Like, can you see my face?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just like clapping like a moron on my own side without you guys being able to see me. All right, let's try again. So we're just going to keep going through examples. That's basically what we're doing today, is going through example after example after example, knowing what it looks like. Angle 7 and angle 13. So again, I'm going to draw my arrows to 7 and 13, and I'm going to cross off whatever I'm not using. So see how this side over here has absolutely nothing to do with those blue arrows? So I'm going to cross it off. And then I'm going to redraw my picture so we can really just look at what's going on. This angle and this angle. Okay? So first off, the transversal. Transversal is the line that goes like this. Are my two arrows on the same side of the transversal, or are they on opposite sides of the transversal?
Opposite sides.
Good. So they're on opposite sides of the transversal. If they're on opposite sides of the transversal, that means that they could be alternate. So opposite. Now I take my hands, top line, bottom line, smush them together. Do the arrows get touched by both lines if I go like this?
Yeah.
Yes, they do. So that means they're inside. Opposite and then inside means alternate exterior angles. Okay, so we're just doing our thing. We're just going through the flow chart and making sure we understand what's going on. Okay, that's really all we have to do, is just keep going through and checking out what's going on. Okay, so I'm hoping that you guys are able to kind of like work through this while I'm working through it too. So let's go through 15 and 12. 15 and 12. So now notice I'm not talking anything about anything up here at all, so I'm going to get rid of that. So I've got my two lines, this way and this way. I've got a transversal crossing them. This is angle 12. This is angle 15. All right, so now we ask ourselves the question. The transversal, first off, the transversal is this line right here. So the transversal is that line right there. Are my arrows on the same side of the transversal? Basically ask yourself, are both of the arrows below the line? Or are both of the arrows above the line? Or is one below and one's above? Are they both below, both above, or one of each?
Both below.
So they're on the same side, right? Because they're both below. So they're on the same side. Now, if I take my hands, right line, left line, and I clap my hands together, are my arrows going to get touched when I clap my hands together? If I take this line and I look at this line going this way and this line going this way, are my arrows going to get touched if I bring those two lines together?
No.
No.
No, they are not. So that means that they are outside. So they're on the same side, but they're outside, which means that they are going to be consecutive exterior angles.
These are all things, you know, the corresponding consecutive interior, consecutive exterior, alternate interior, alternate exterior. Those are all things that we should probably put on our paper, right?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
you mean which paper? You mean your proofreading sheet?
Yeah.
Yes, I would probably have those there. Yep. You probably don't have to worry about it so much right now, but eventually you're going to have to know those. Like they're going to have to be on a proof sheet. Okay. I'm going to erase this and we're going to do one more together. And then I'm going to just hang out here and you guys can ask questions if you have questions. Okay. But I'm going to pick one that's a little bit different. Okay. So I'm going to pick one that's a little bit different. Actually, I'm going to pick two that are a little bit different. So right here, I'm going to go through this 6 and 7. So 6 and 7 are those two angles right there. And then now I'm going to cross off everything that doesn't have to do with those arrows. So I'm going to cross off this. I'm going to cross off this. And I'm going to cross off this. So now if you notice what I've just created, I've created something that looks like this. And I'm talking about this angle and this angle. Remember, if it's just a cross, it can either be vertical, it can be linear pair, or it can be nothing. That's all it can be. So it can either be a vertical, linear pair, or nothing. Are these vertical? Are they a linear pair, or are they nothing?
Would it be linear pair?
Sure would.
So what do you mean by nothing?
Actually, it can't be nothing because it's either going to be vertical or it's going to be linear pair. So it can't be nothing here. Nothing just means they don't have a relationship, but that's never going to happen. If they look like this, they're always going to have a relationship, and it's either going to be vertical or linear pair.
What would something without a relationship look like?
We're going to go through one just like right now. Okay. That was one of the other examples I was going to go through. Okay. So now I'm going to erase this. And I'm going to go through one more example together. And let's look at like 8 and 10. So angle 8 and angle 10, two below the one that we just did. So angle 8 and angle 10. And now, remember, I like to cross off everything that I'm not using. And then I like to redraw my picture. Now, some of you can probably do this in your brain. For some of you, you probably can't do it in your brain. So I'm going to redraw my picture. That means I have one angle up here, and then I'm going to have another thing down here, right? Because I crossed off everything up here, and I crossed off everything down here. Can anyone think of any relationship that these two things have? If you have something that looks like this, it can't be vertical because the vertical angle would either be up here or down here. So it can't be vertical. If it was a linear pair, it'd be here or here, or it would be here or here. But notice how they're not even on the same line. If they're not on the same lines, they're on two different lines. They can't have a relationship, so they have no relationship. Oops. So these angles would have no relationship. Notice how they're not even on the same lines with each other. If they're not even on the same lines with each other, that means they can't have a relationship because they aren't even touching. Okay, they aren't even in the same spot. There's nothing about them that's the same. Okay? So I'm going to stop my recording here.